Hey guys, it's Kayla again. I wanted to do a different video today than what I normally ever do, and it's going to be my experience, so like a story time, even though it literally just happened recently, of my reinsertion of Nexplanon. So, yeah, this lovely thing. I, so this is the third time that I've had one of these. And I have yet to ever use one for the full 3 years because they seem to have been not working as well as they should at the end of 2.5 years. So I mean, I still use them for a good amount of time, and then after that, they just seem to just not work with me and my body, which is fine, cool, whatever. I still love them. I mean, the percentage of protection is just you can't beat it unless you are abstinent, really. So basically, the first time that I had it was after my first daughter was born, and I had it for around 2 years. At 2 years, I started bleeding profusely for each of my periods, and they would last much longer than my 1 to 10. So, like, normally my periods are between 7 and 10 days. Totally normal for me. Everybody else would probably think that's long. For me, that's just how I'm used to it. My periods generally were heavy growing up, and it seemed to have slowed down a little bit. And then I had the Nexplanon, and I went a little while without having a period, probably 6 to 8 months. I didn't have one. And then it started getting really, really heavy at 2 years after they started coming back, and they just got for a much longer period of time, usually at least 2 weeks, with 2 weeks in between each cycle. So very irregular. I ended up having it taken out, and I got the NuvaRing instead. Unfortunately, I have aurora migraines, which means your vision changes when you have migraines. And for me, it looks like snow on a TV, and it pulsates and it moves, and it's funny looking. That's all I can see, and I have blind spots in my vision full of those, and I kind of have to see around them, and it ends up just making it so much worse trying to do that than just going to sleep. Usually sleep is the only thing that helps mine. I can take 2,000 milligrams of ibuprofen, and it just doesn't usually touch it. Sometimes I've had to take sumatriptan, and it still doesn't. So with that, I ended up taking my first one out, went on the NuvaRing, and you're not supposed to go on NuvaRing due to certain hormone levels and increasing chances of strokes. Sorry if you can hear my kids, they're playing in the other room because daycare is closed this week. Yay! At least they're doing it now and not during school, because during school that would be a headache to try to figure out. And by the way, school starts in 3 weeks for me. I'm not prepared. I'm not ready to go back. I need an extra 3 months to go. So anyways, within a month or so of being on the NuvaRing, I ended up pregnant with my second daughter. So there my periods went away anyways. After she was born, I didn't get the Nexplanon back in until, I want to say, March. So she was born in October. I didn't get until March. Never got pregnant in between that. The girl's father and I had split up, so it wasn't a concern of mine. However, knowing the Nexplanon, I was hoping that that would delay my period, since I was a single mom at that point, and that would just cost a lot more money to have my period every month, and for how heavy it had been and how long my periods are, it just financially wasn't the best move to not get it. So I got it. It has been fine. I went almost 2 years and 3 months without having a single period. Emma is now over 2.5 years old. She turned 2.5 back in April. In February, I believe it was, of this year, I started bleeding, and my periods would last at least 2 months. 2 months of very heavy, heavy periods. Using a tampon and a full-size, super heavy maxi pad, and having to change those every few hours. I'm no joke. As soon as that happened, and as soon as that hit over 2 weeks, I called my doctor and was like, I need to have this checked out now. I'm done. I'm not doing this. It's fine. Take it out, put a new one back, and if you need to, let's figure this out. I went in. She's like, well, you haven't even hit 2 years yet, because I didn't hit 2 years until March. So I think it's best if we waited, and if this happens again, we'll talk again. That midwife actually left the practice and went to a different practice, which is fine. I adore her. My period did stop for a few weeks. May 29th of this year, I started my period back up, and it just stopped, no joke, 2 weeks ago. It is now August. So the 1st of August, I stopped. That is over 2 months of period. And this time it was very, very heavy. And I'm sorry if this is way too much information. This is story time. Sorry, let's get real. With my last period that I had in February, I knew it was super, super heavy. And I'm like, well, that just takes up so much product. And I did not want to go through that again because, it's a lot of money to go and buy 3 boxes of tampons every time you got a period, and for those not to be enough. You have to do that, and then you have to buy packages of pads as well. So what I ended up doing was, when my period first started, I went out and I bought myself a Diva Cup. And with me and other women who have had kids, you're supposed to get the bigger size. So that's what I did. And as soon as I got that, I'm like, oh, sweet. In the beginning when it was a little bit lighter, it was great. Like, it held out phenomenally. I loved it. The seal was great. I still had to use a pad just because I did leak once in a while, nothing major. And then when my period really got heavy, I was bleeding so much that filled up the Diva Cup within hours, and it leaked over the top, and it's like it created so much pressure that was still seeping through the sides and filling up my pads. So I called the midwife yet again, the new midwife, and was like, look, this is ridiculous. It needs to be checked. And they're like, okay, well, we'll get you in. So fast forward to last week, I went into the midwife's office, and they ended up doing a pregnancy test on me because they were like, hey, maybe you're pregnant. No, not pregnant. Sorry if that disappoints you. Doesn't disappoint me because I still have 8 months to go for my RN, which means I would be having a baby during finals or just before that, and there would be no way that I could pass nursing school if I had a child right now. There's just no way. I have 2 right now. 3 would be impossible, especially one being a newborn. So anyways, they did that. They did STI and STD testing because they're like, oh, sometimes that makes you bleed abnormally. Nothing came like that. They checked for fibroids. I didn't get any answer to that, but they don't think that's what it is. So that's good, I guess. They're really having fun. That's not crying. That's like having fun over there. So anyways, they're like, well, do you want your tubes tied? Absolutely not. That is like my biggest fear, is ever being sterile. I always want to have that chance of having a baby right now, just not right now. So in the future, 2-3 more years, who knows? Maybe I would love to have another kid. But I never want to take that option away and for it just to be so final. That scares me. I couldn't. If I had uterine cancer, I'm not sure I could go forward and have a hysterectomy just because I'd want another chance to have a baby, and for me it's very, very important. Doesn't mean I'm gonna have another baby, but it's nice to have the option. So, anyways, they're like, well, we can set an appointment next week and we can take it out and put in a new one for you if you want another one. And I said, yes, if it's going to fix the bleeding and the issues that I'm having, I would absolutely love to do that. So from what the midwife and the nurse practitioner were telling me is that after these last 2 years, what may have happened is this little rod, the Nexplanon, produces estrogen or releases it, and it may have slowed down the amount of estrogen that it's been producing, or releasing, I should say. And with that, it's allowing the endometrium tissues to build back up, and where I haven't had a period in 2 years, it may have gotten a super thick lining, and that's why it's producing so much blood and tissue and gunk that I just am not in favor of having. So what they said, back 6 months ago, I weighed 130 pounds. Not extremely skinny, not extremely big. I was a good size. I was size 6 jeans, just bought new jeans because my size 8s and 10s were no longer fitting me. I went back to my appointment yesterday to have my Nexplanon removed, and I am up to 157.6, which is one of the highest weights that I've ever been. I don't like being this big. I've cut out the majority of my soda. I used to drink a ton of Pepsi a day, like at least maybe 2 to 3 liters of Pepsi every day, and it was not good. Like, it's a bad amount. I stopped drinking Pepsi. I've switched to more healthy foods. I do work at McDonald's, so yeah, I get french fries now and then. But like, I stopped eating their sausage biscuits and things like that and tried to be a little bit more health consuming. I started exercising more, so I'm like, okay, why am I gaining almost 30 pounds? That's, enormous to me. So from my understanding though, the less estrogen that you have compared to before may lead to weight gain. And if I have this new Nexplanon put in, it may help me shed some of that extra weight that I have gained. If I got back down to 140 and only had a 10-pound gain, that would be okay because I could probably fit into my jeans still. But right now, I can't fit into any of my jeans that I just bought in January. And I am so upset because I love those jeans. So anyways, now that I have said that, the person that put my new Nexplanon in was the nurse or the midwifery student, who is super wonderful. And she talked to me in the beginning and she's like, I've only watched videos, I've never actually done this. And I looked at her, I'm like, if you want to do it on me, you can. Like, I'm in nursing school. I love getting those opportunities for my patients to allow me to come in and watch births or to do procedures with my nursing instructors on them, being able to insert Foley catheters and such. It's a wonderful experience, and if I can give a little bit back, I want to do that. So as I told her, it's like, I've had a very wonderful experience at the place that I go for my gynecological services and doing my nursing school through them. Been really, really lucky. I feel bad because during both my births, I had said, yeah, nursing student can come in, and then all of a sudden I was like, get them out. I don't want them in here anymore. Go. So those two students have lost out on that experience, and I'm kind of happy that I've been able to give out an experience of putting in an Nexplanon and taking one out when she has never been able to do that before. So it started out with putting some lidocaine in it, and she put up a little too much that it hid the rod, and mine was deeper to begin with, and I kind of prefer that because I really don't like touching it unless I really forcefully push into my muscle and find it that way. So it took her a little while to actually get it out, and it wasn't stuck like last time. Last time I had it embedded. This time it wasn't embedded. She just had to cut off a little bit of the top and then cut it off, take it out that way. Putting it in. On the other hand, I watched her do that. And I don't know if I've told you guys, and I'll probably have another video of this later, of fainting during nursing school. Because, hey, go me, I don't like gore, I guess. Even though I watch gory movies all the time. So I got a little heebie-jeebie because supposedly they don't go as deep as they used to with Nexplanon, and now it's very superficial. So my Nexplanon that I have now, and I'll show you, I can see the rod through the skin without pressing on it. It's visibly there, and I don't like that. Doesn't mean that she did it wrong, it's just the new way that they're doing it. So you can probably see that line. That's the rod, and that freaks me out because that's going to be so prone to being hit. And it had an ace bandage all day, well, for the majority of yesterday and last night. I took it off this morning. I can't just like rip it off because it has like little suture things on it too. But you can see some of the bruising that I have. It's not bad. Like, some of the things that I've seen are absolutely disgusting. But I don't bruise that easily, I guess. Ooh, okay, I got it. We're good. So, I mean, that's all it is, but I hate seeing the rod. So that's it. I'll probably show you guys once these can come off. I'm not sure how long that will be. You can see my little scar marks, barely, of where it had been. I have 4 of those marks now.
Mom, I'm making a video too. Mom, I'm making a video
So yeah.
Mom.
Hold on, baby. That's what it looks like. Yeah, as soon as it's done healing, I would probably give you guys an update on how that's looking. Oh my gosh, that looks even worse, doesn't it? I hate seeing the rod. I hate seeing the rod. Freaks me out, gives me the heebie-jeebies. So anyways, guys, that was my story time about the Nexplanon and how it has kind of worked out for me, kind of not worked out. It's a hit or miss sometimes. I think it's just how long it stays in my body. So anyways, guys, if you have any questions or you have any issues with the Nexplanon, I'd love to hear them. I'm not sponsored by them or anything.
Say hello.
Hi. So yeah, thank you guys for everything and keep on nursing.